It was hard at first. I mean, like I said, nothing is done overnight. It was really hard to do it. But now that we got the hang of it, we make it work and what's best works for our family.
But I think before, I don't want you to go all over that. I'm talking about talk about the grind, the process that you went through, Bill. Taking that chance, leap of faith before you even got to the truck. Because I remember you aggressively working from home.
Yeah, I was aggressively working from home, doing events in the community. At first, I didn't know you had to have all this type of paperwork to do.
What type of paperwork are you talking about for the ones that want to do this also?
For one, the person that really pushed me to get, it was two people. It's Trinette and Greg. Gregory Eaton, Cupcake Man.
Okay, good. So both good people for this industry.
So paperwork. That's all these people care about is paperwork. Paperwork, it consists of your business tax receipt, and some type of insurance.
Because that gives you opportunity to start catering for companies.
It starts catering as long as you have a business tax receipt. And I never forget, one day I was working at a group home and I was trying to come up with a name for the business. And I'm like, what am I going to call it? So I was asking my coworker, it was like, Dangerous Barbecue. I'm like, nah, I don't want no barbecue name. I'm like, because I just don't, I know how to cook.
It's more than just barbecue.
So I was like, well, cooking something. And I'm like, Edge. And then she was like, what about cooking on the edge? And I'm like, they got a nice ring to it.
You better be careful if she wants the credit for this name.
Oh, nah.
Be careful with that one, but go ahead.
So that's how the name came along, Cooking on the Edge. Edge being my last name.
It's a great name.
So thank you. So that's how that came about.
So after you got game from Trinette and Greg telling you, hey, look, you need to get yourself, you need to get this whole thing in order.
Okay.
What did you do first? Did you go into the city, just do it? What's the process for the ones that are just like you that want to do the same thing?
I think my first event that I ever did was Old School Reunion.
Okay.
Like, I didn't do the first year. I believe I did the second year. So I think
that's your first outdoor event.
Outdoor, and I started on tabletop. So, I got with some of the people. It's like, you need a business tax receipt and you need insurance. I had those two things. So the following year, I was at Old School Reunion. And I do it every year.
So that first opportunity is what opened up your eyes.
The first opportunity was at Old School
How
Reunion.
was that first event? How was that feeling? Because
it felt good, but it was stressful. Because it's like,
you've never done this before.
I've never done this before. And it's like you out here in front of people. I was cooking behind closed doors.
So now everything is in full. Ooh, the pressure.
The process of getting ready for an event, it's not easy. I mean,
so and you believe because there wasn't anyone you were able to get that information from is why your process was so difficult? Or did you know anybody else that actually did this before? Like outdoor event, setting up a booth.
I don't know. I don't know if I knew anybody that did it. One of my customers that used to buy food, she's like, Daniel, why you want that Old School Reunion? I was like, I didn't know anything about it.
But even knowing the process to do it, because you said it was difficult when you first got started.
It was my first event. I didn't know what to expect or how much I was going to buy, or did I underbuy, did I overbuy? Because you got to keep track of those things to see how much money.
So how did you do for your first event?
I did pretty good. I sold out.
It's never bad, Dan.
It's never bad.
You made it seem like, I don't know, but you didn't finish off letting me know I sold out.
Because a lot of the customers were my customers, so
So you were in the community. So all your customers were just there. They expected. So they already knew you were going to have good food, but you didn't know that you had the whole process of getting to that point to open up, serve, cook in front of people, the whole night. So how, were you intimidated by that whole thing?
At first I was. But once I just started getting in the groove, I'm like, okay.
It's your emotions.
I'm just
like, what did the menu look like for that first
I think the first year was ribs, chicken, and fish.
So that was your protein. Did you do sides also on that?
Yeah, I did sides, macaroni, baked beans, and collard greens.
So you stuck to what you know.
I stuck to what and I did sauce too. Pork sauce and chicken sauce. So I think that was, because I knew somebody was like, oh, make sure you bring some sauce out here. And I'm like,
did you do sauce before around
I started sauce in the community at the house.
Also. So after that first thing, that's when you started realizing I could do this for a living.
Yeah.
Did you already leave racetrack and everything? Did you already leave your job?
Racetrack was just recently. I just recently went back full time.
Oh, you went back full time.
Yeah.
So when you went to you got to the
before I got to that point, I was always in and out of jobs.
Just because you thought that was your security blanket.
Yeah, the job was always, I kept a job to have a security blanket. You know, I was funding the business from my job paycheck. Yeah.
So once you started doing events, then you had, when did you decide I guess that's when you decided you're going to go full time?
I really wasn't full time. I was just going with the flow. On my days off, I would open up. If I get off later and my wife was home during the day, if she was off, she would start.
How many kids you guys had around there?
2.
2, okay. Yeah. So you guys take care of the kids. You guys would decide, hey, let's just do it. How did they do every time? Did you guys sell out every time?
No, we have good days and we have bad days. Some people will say, you know, we sell out every time. I sit here and tell you, but when I started, I didn't sell out every time. No, it wasn't as sweet.
So do you think but also what made you keep on going though?
The passion I had for cooking and then the customers.
So seeing people enjoy your food
is what kept me.
Is what kept you going. Yeah. So so after that first event, what was the next step for you?
The next step after the old school reunion was, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Was it going down to the truck, the food truck?
No, the food truck. I just recently, it's been a year since I had the food truck.
So then what was that transition? And so you went from doing it, was it more catering? Like what was next?
After the event, I started catering.
Did that take off pretty good?
Somewhat, because at the time, I didn't know what to charge somebody. So I was just basically going with the flow. Like I didn't know you had to, until, I had a talk with, Trinette. Hey, you gotta with catering, because she would call and ask me for stuff. And I remember this one time she called and asked me for something. And, I sent it to her and she sent it back to me. She's like, this is not enough. So for another business person to tell you that, like, you need to get paid what you're worth, I mean, that was pretty big to me.